Welcome to Christopher Pike's The Last Vampire. We are reading Book 3, Red Dice, and we are in Chapter 2. I awake with a pale wash of light panning across my face. Opening my eyes, I see it is the searchlights, hovering helicopters pointing down on me. Only they are high in the air, and I am many feet underwater, on my back, on the bottom of the lake. Even though unconscious, my mind must have had the wisdom to halt my breathing. I don't know how long I have been out. My head still hurts, but the pain is bearable. It is obvious that the personnel in the helicopter cannot see me. I wonder how Joel is, if he escaped. My left leg is pinned under the wreckage of my chopper. It is good because otherwise I would be floating on the surface, probably with many bullet holes in me. Pulling my leg free, I roll on my belly and begin to swim away from the lights, not sure at first if I am moving deeper into the lake or closer to the shore. My desire for a breath is strong, but not overwhelming. I know I can swim a long way before I'll have to surface. They can't scan every square inch of the lake. I am going to escape, yet there will be no freedom for me if Joel is not free. 10 minutes later, when the lights are far behind me, I allow myself to swim to the surface and peek. I am far out in the center of the lake, behind me, near the shore where my chopper was blown out of the sky. The helicopters still circle, their beams still focused on the water. Close to this spot on the shore are several trucks, many uniformed people, some cops, some army personnel. Joel stands in the middle of them, a dozen guns pointed at his head. Damn, I whisper. He really couldn't swim. I cannot rush in to save him. I know this, yet I have to stop myself from making the attempt. It is my nature to act quickly. Patience has not come to me over the centuries. Floating in the center of the black lake, it seems to me the years have only brought grief. Joel is ushered into an armored truck. Men on the shore are donning scuba gear. They want my body. They want to see it before they can rest. I know that I must act quickly if I am to track Joel. Yet I also know I have to stop killing. They'll be looking for any suspicious deaths in the area as a way to confirm I am still alive. A throbbing sensation in my forehead draws my attention. I reach up and pull away a chunk of shrapnel that has been working its way out of my skull. Before the infusion of Yaksha's blood, such an injury would have killed me. I swim for the shore where Joel is being held, but a mile to the left away from him. In the dam, I am a better swimmer than most dolphins and reach land in a few minutes. No one sees me as I slip out of the water and dash into the rocky hills. My first impulse to creep closer to the armed assembly, yet I cannot steal one of their vehicles to follow Joel. Fretting about the growing gap between us, I turn away from the small army and run towards the campgrounds. Even in the winter, families come to Lake Mead to enjoy the nature. Overhead, an almost full moon shines down on me. Just what I don't need. If an Apache spots me again, I swear I'm going to jump up and grab it skids and take it over. My turn to fire the rockets. The thoughts are idle, the mental chatter of a natural-born predator. I find a family of 3 asleep in a tent on the outskirts of the campground. Their shiny new Ford Bronco parked nearby and waiting for me to steal. Silently, I break the lock, slip in behind the steering wheel. It takes me only of 2 seconds to hotwire the vehicle, then I am off, the window down. Throughout my life, hearing has always been my best sense. I can hear snowflakes as they emerge from a cloud 2 miles overhead. Indeed, I have no trouble hearing the Army's motor parade start their engines and pull away from the lake. Probably, the commander thinks he should get Joel to a secure place. Even before the blood of the blonde witch is found. I use my ears to follow them as they move onto the road that leads away from the lake. Yet with my nose in the air, it is my sense of smell that is the most acute. It startles me. I can smell Joel, even in the midst of the others. Clearly, in fact. I suspect this is another gift of Yaksha, Master Yakshini, born of a demonic race of serpents. Snakes always have exceptional sense of smell. I am grateful for this newfound sense because I can accurately trail the military parade from a great distance. These people are not stupid. They will check to see if they are being followed. Once again, I am struck by my ability to sense their thoughts. I have always been able to discern emotions in mortals, but never ideas. Yaksha must have been an outright mind reader. He never told me. I know for sure the people up ahead are checking their backs. I allow the distance between us to grow to as much as 15 miles. Naturally, I drive with the lights out. At first, the group heads in the direction of Las Vegas. Then, 5 miles outside the city of Sin, they turn east onto a narrow paved road. The column stretches out, and I have to stay even farther back. There are many signs, restricted area. I believe we are headed to some sort of government base. My hunch is confirmed less than an hour later. Approximately 50 miles outside of Las Vegas, the armored vehicle carrying Joel disappears into an elaborately defended camp. I speed up and take my Bronco off the road, parking it behind a hill, a mile from both the road and the camp. On foot, I scamper towards the installation, growing more amazed with every step at how complex and impenetrable it appears. The surrounding fence is over 100 feet high, topped with billowy coils of barbed wire. Ordinarily, I could jump such a barrier without breaking a sweat. Unfortunately, the place has manned towers equipped with machine guns and grenade launchers of every 200 feet. That's a lot of towers. The compound is huge, at least a half mile across. In addition to the towers and fence, there is a densely packed maze of 3-foot-high electronic devices. They resemble metal baseball bats, stretching along the perimeter. I suspect that if tripped, they emit a paralyzing field. Vampires are sensitive to electricity. I once was hit by a bolt of lightning, and spent the next 3 days recovering in a coffin. My boyfriend at the time wanted to bury me. One side of the compound is devoted almost exclusively to a concrete runway. I remember reading about a top-secret government installation in the desert outside of Las Vegas that supposedly tests advanced fighter craft, nuclear weapons, and biological weapons. I have a sneaking suspicion that I am looking at it. The compound backs into a large barren hill, and I believe the military has mined deep into the natural slope to perform experiments best hidden from the eyes of spy satellites. There are Sherman tanks and Apache helicopters parked close to a barrack-like structures. No doubt, the weapons can be manned in 10 seconds. One thing is immediately clear to me. I will not be able to break into the compound, and get out alive. The armored vehicle carrying Joel has halted near the center of the compound. Armed soldiers scurry to line up around it, their weapons drawn and leveled. A cruel-faced general with a single star on his shoulder and a death in his eyes approaches the vehicle. Behind him is a group of white-clad scientists, just what I don't want to see. The general signals to somebody out of view, and the side door on the armored vehicle swings open. Heavily chained, his shoulders bowed, down Joel is brought into the open. The general approaches him, strangely unafraid, and searches him. Then he glances over his shoulder. Several of the scientists seem to nod. I don't understand the exchange. What are they approving? That Joel is a genuine vampire? They don't know about vampires. Or do they? I whisper. But it's not possible. For the last 2,000 years or more, Yaksha and I were the only vampires on Earth. Recently, there have been others, of course, but Ray's conversion was short-lived. Eddie was a psychotic aberration, and I destroyed all of Eddie's offspring. Or did I? This general wanted us taken alive, I realize. He's the one who gave the order to the Apache pilots. They waited a long time before they used their rockets, and then only when they were forced to. In fact, the general probably is angry that they used them at all. The way he's studying Joel, it's almost as if he's gloating. The general wants something from Joel, and he knows what it is. Joel is taken inside a building. The general confers with one scientist, and then they too go inside. I sit back and groan. Damn. My objective is clear. I have to get Joel out of the compound before they can perform extensive tests on him. More specifically, before they can analyze his blood. I am not sure what they will find, but whatever they discover, it won't bode well for the long-term survival of the human race. But I cannot force my way inside, therefore I must sneak in. How do I do that? Make friends with the guards? Seduce Mr. Machine Gun Mike? The idea may not be as far-fetched as it seems with my magnetic personality and hypnotic eyes. But from what I can see, all the men live at the compound. This is unfortunate. I glance in the direction of Las Vegas. Neon fallout on the horizon. But the boys must leave the compound and go out on the town. Now and then, I mutter. It is 2 hours before dawn. While I study the compound with my powerful eyes, searching for a vulnerable spot, I see the scientist whom the general confirmed with climb into an ordinary car. He stops at a checkpoint before exiting the compound. By then, I am running for my Bronco. I want to talk to this scientist. As I climb in my stolen vehicle, I notice that my arms and hands are glowing with a faint white light. The effect stuns me. My face is also glowing. In fact, all my exposed skin shines with the same iridescence as the full moon, which hangs low in the sky in the direction of Las Vegas. What kind of radiation are they fooling with out here? I mutter. I decide to worry about it later. The scientist is a speed demon. He drives close to 100 all the way to Las Vegas, or at least until he hits the public highway, 5 miles outside the town. I push the Bronco to keep up. I suppose no cop will give him a ticket on a government road. It is my hope he lives in Las Vegas, but when he goes straight to the Mirage Hotel, my hope sinks. He's probably just one for a few hours of fun. I park near him in the lot and prepare to follow him inside. Then I remember what I am wearing. A ripped flak jacket and bloody clothes. I do not panic. The people I stole the Bronco from are on vacation. They will have, I'm sure, ladies' clothes somewhere in the vehicle. Lo and behold, in the back, I find a pair of blue jeans, 2 sizes too big, and a black Mickey Mouse sweatshirt that fits like a wetsuit. Luckily, the blood and glass washed out of my hair while I slept beneath the Lake Mead. Standing in a dark corner of the parking lot, I change quickly. I find the scientist inside at the dice table. He is an attractive man, perhaps 45, with thick black hair and large central tips. His face is sun-dried, tanned, and lined, yet on him the effect is not unpleasant. He looks like a man who has weathered many storms and come out ahead. His gray eyes deep-set, very alert, focused. He has discarded his white lab coat for a nicely tailored sports coat. He is holding a pair of red dice as I enter, and it seems to me that he is secretly willing them to obey his commands, and so many other gamblers do. He fails to throw a pass, a 7 or an 11. He loses his bet, and the dice passes to another player. I note that he had $100 chip on the table, not a small bet for a scientist on the government payroll. I'm surprised when he lays down another $100. He loses that as well. I observe the man for 45 minutes. He is a regular. One of the pit bosses call him Mr. Kane. Another, Andrew Kane, I think, because Andy continues to lose at an alarming rate. He is forced to sign a slip to get more chips when the cash in his pockets is gone. But these black honeybees vanish rapidly. and his eagerness turns to frustration. I have been counting $2,000 gone. Just like that, sighing, he leaves the table, and after a double scotch at the bar, leaves the casino. I follow him home. The place is modest. He goes inside and prepares for bed. As the morning sun splashes the eastern sky, he turns out his own light. Obviously, he works the night shift, or else the general had called Andy into work because of Joel. I wonder if he'll be working long hours in the days to come. Memorizing his address, I drive back toward the Mirage. If it is Andy's favorite hangout, it'll be mine as well. I have no credit cards, money, or identification. But the woman at the reservation desk hands me a key to a luxury suite after staring hard into my beautiful blue eyes. Inside my room, I place a call to my primary business manager in New York City. His voice is unaffected. The government has not gotten to him yet. We do not talk long. Code red, I say. Have the package delivered to the Mirage Hotel, Las Vegas, room 2134. Immediately. Understood, he says, and hangs up. The package will include everything I need to start a new life. Passport, driver's license, cash, credit cards. It will arrive at my door in the next hour. There will also be an elaborate makeup kit inside, wigs, and different colored contacts. Over the last 50 centuries, I've prepared for every eventuality, including this one. Tomorrow I will look like someone else, and Andrew Kane will meet a mysterious young woman and fall in love. Chapter 3. The following evening, a demure redhead with short bangs and green eyes waits outside Andrew Kane's house. Actually, I have been in the front seat of my newly purchased Jeep since noon. But the mad scientist has been fast asleep, as most normal people would be after staying up all night. I came to his house early because I am anxious to go through his things, learn exactly what he does before I make a move on him. The one fact that guides me as to his importance is that the general spoke only to him after Joel was brought inside the compound. Yet, intuitively, I sense Andy's value. There is something fascinating in his gray eyes, even though he is a degenerate gambler. The quality does not bother me, however, because I might be able to use his obvious casino debt against him, of course. I plan to use Andy to get into the compound to rescue Joel. Quickly, I feel the pressure of each passing hour. Joel will be thirsty already, unless they happen to feed him. A newborn's thirst is agonizing. The papers are shouting about the barbaric terrorist attack in Los Angeles. Authorities estimate that there were at least 3 dozen Islamic fanatics involved, and that the local police were overwhelmed by superior forces and military equipment. The mayor has vowed that the city officials will not rest until the murderers are brought to justice. When in doubt, blame it on the Arabs. The hot sun is draining for me after such intense night, yet I bear it better than I would have before drinking Yaksha's blood. I suspect after 5,000 years the sun had no effect on Yaksha. I'm sure I could use his power now. I pray he is finally at peace in Krishna's blue abode. How often I pray to Krishna. How curious, since I am supposed to hate him. Oh well. The heart of a vampire is unfathomable. No wonder superstitious people are always trying to drive stakes through our hearts. It is 5 in the evening before Andrew Kane emerges from his house and climbs in his car. He has no time for the casinos now, no doubt. The general waits for him, and he drives the 5 miles on highway 15, then turns onto the government road, once again pushing his speed up to near 100. My Jeep has a powerful engine. I cruise 5 comfortable miles behind him. Actually, it is probably something of a waste to follow him all the way into work. He'll just drive inside and disappear into one of the buildings. But I want to see how long it takes him to pass through security, how many checks he goes through. Closer to the compound, I veer off the road and tear across the desert, parking near the hill I hid behind before. On the seat beside me are high-powered binoculars. Even my supernatural sight can be improved by mechanical aids. I am not given a chance to reach my vantage point before Andy gets to the front gate of the compound. Still, I can see well enough. He is stopped, naturally, but the guards know him well. He hardly has to flash his badge. The guards do not search his trunk. He parks his car in the same spot and enters the building where Joel was taken, the largest, most modern building in the whole complex. Chemical smells drift out from the building. It definitely has a lab inside. I would like to examine the compound further, but night is the time to do it. Plus, I am anxious to get into Andy's house. I tear back to Las Vegas, not passing anyone on the road. I wonder if the scuba divers are still searching the bottom of the Lake Mead for my body. I wonder if the general suspects I will try to rescue Joel. I doubt it. Andy's house is a 3-bedroom affair at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac. This being Las Vegas, there is the obligatory pool in the backyard. Leaving my Jeep on the adjoining street, I climb his wall and pick his back door lock. Inside it is cool. He left the air conditioning on. I shut the door and stand listening for a moment, smelling. Many aromas come to me then. They tell me much about the man, even though we have never been formally introduced. He is a vegetarian. There's no smell of animal flesh. He doesn't smoke, but he does drink. I see as well as smell the bottles of liquor in a walnut cabinet. He does not use cologne, but there is a faint odor of various makeup products. Our Mr. Andrew Kane resents middle age. He is a bachelor. There are no pictures of a wife or kids on the walls. I step into the kitchen. He eats out mostly. There's a little food in the refrigerator. I riffle through his bills on the kitchen counter. There are a couple envelopes from banks. He is up to his limit on 3 credit cards. I walk into the bedroom he uses as an office. I almost faint. On his desk is a black and white red plastic model of the double helix DNA molecule. That is not what staggers me. Beside it is a much more complex model of a different kind of DNA, one that has 12 strands of encoded information instead of 2. It is not the first time I have seen it. Okay, this is a key point. This is foreshadowing what is going to happen. 700 years ago, the great Italian alchemist Arturo Evola created a similar model after spending 6 months in my company. It's not possible, I whisper. Andrew Kane has already begun to crack the DNA of the vampire. Okay, now that is where I'm going to stop. Tomorrow we will be reading chapter 4. And for those of you who are interested, The Last Vampire Book 1, and I have started doing Black Blood it's on my YouTube channel. So you can rewatch those. And if you like YA horror mystery adventures about vampires and teen romance that is reminiscent of Fear Street, Are You Afraid of the Dark, and a little bit of The Lost Boys, then you may like Vampire Juice. Amanda and Sean stumble upon a mysterious can of juice while searching for Halloween costumes at a local store. Despite being kicked out by the sales clerk, they become obsessed with uncovering the truth behind the strange drink. With the help from some local bullies, they sneak back into the store through a crypt in the graveyard, only to find themselves in the midst of a spine-chilling adventure. Okay, that sounds like something you're interested in. My link is in the bio. And once again, tomorrow we will be reading chapter 4 of The Last Vampire, Red Dice. Thank you for watching.